with a number of representatives, one being from the Gordian Group and the Keystone Purchasing Network and IB Able Incorporated, which is an electrical utility construction service, and also Scott Shower from Shower Electric Service here in Lebanon. The purpose of that workshop was to learn more and explore the potential of being a part of the Keystone Purchasing Network for any construction projects that we might undertake. The immediate need for that is the replacement and relocation of the electrical service to the prison. With the sale of Cedar Haven, the service that's coming into the property is combined, and it all goes over to Cedar Haven and passes through over to the prison, while we can meter that for the time being with CHR, and they can bill us for the portion of the electric we're using. Not ideal, since the property will no longer be owned by the county, but the electrical service would still exist on it. And aside from that, it's the service is, as they inspected it, not a bad idea to replace it anyway. It's direct burial cable. In some instances, it's not very deep. It's not as deep as what code would require today. So, Lord, replacing that and giving a brand new service to the correctional facility from a dedicated pole along Metro Drive. There are two options to doing it. One is the traditional way, which would be to have an electrical engineer draw up specs for bidding, put the bidding out, have job meetings, open bids, and go the traditional way that everyone's familiar with. However, we became aware of the Keystone Purchasing Network, which is another opportunity available to us, and that is similar to, the best similarity I can give you is similar to the CoStar's program that the Commonwealth offers for supplies, where they go ahead and do the bidding work on a broad basis, and they narrow it down to a unit cost or an item cost that is then available to other political subdivisions to utilize those costs without having to go on bid. Well, the Keystone Purchasing Network did the same thing, but for general contractor, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. So they divided the state into 6 regions. They had bids opened in each of those regions, and as a result, bids awarded, unit costs awarded to various contractors throughout the state. In our region, which is the South Central region, which is comprised of approximately 10 counties from Huntington, Fulton over to Lancaster, Lebanon, and north up to Snyder and Northumberland. In that region, the contractors are, for general contract, it would be Lobar. For electrical, it would be IB Able. And for plumbing and each HVAC, both, the contractor is Clark. When we met back on September 3rd, there was a representative here from IB Able. Let me back up just a second. I did speak with Dave Warner, our solicitor. Dave researched the purchasing section of the county code to see whether or not this would be available to us, and found, I don't know if Dave wants to add anything to this, but found essentially that this would be in compliance with the purchasing section of the county code, because we are a political subdivision. This was already competitively bid, and it would be available to us. The representative from IB Able at that meeting offered to go back and put together an entire proposal, which is the third step in the process. The first step would be a scope meeting. They were already out and saw the project, saw the need, then provide a detailed scope of work, then give a price proposal, which would then result in a purchase order if you proceed with this. So IB Able has done the work. They've priced it all out according to the unit costs that have been competitively bid, and they've given us a proposal now for $87,838.62. That would involve relocating the underground electrical feed, which provides power to the prison. They would trench and backfill 380 feet of primary service trench, furnish and install conduits, two different lines of conduits from the utility pole that would be installed on Metro Drive to the new switch pad, the existing transformer. They would install flowable concrete casement for the entire length of the trench, furnish and install medium voltage switch, furnish and install #1 conductor cable from the pole to the transformer, and install load breaks, ground rods, and other associated exothermic connections. In addition to that proposal, we have no choice in this matter. First Energy provides the pole, and they provide the switchgear on the pole. They are the utility. There isn't really a competitive process for that part of it. You know, First Energy says, here's what we're going to do, here's what it would cost. The estimate from IB Able for what they believe First Energy would need to do in terms of a dedicated pole and switchgear there is about $20,000 on top of this. So that would be the cost of switching over the electrical service to the prison's own connection.
And the money from this would come then from the potential sale of Cedar
Right,
Haven?
proceeds of the sale, right. And this is one of several costs that are involved with the sale, you know, with the divesting of it.
Et cetera.
Right, exactly, things like that, yep. You can open it up and talk about it if you need. If you're so inclined, then what we would need, what Dennis and I would need from you is a motion to accept this proposal and proceed, and Dennis could then get started with a purchase order. If you engage this today, they believe they can get working as soon as next week. It would be a matter of getting the excavation equipment mobilized and getting going, and probably have it done by the end of the month before we finally close on Cedar Haven, which would be preferable. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if it went into November, but we'd really like it to be a nice, clean separation for the closing.
The terms, is it cash on completion? I think it's important to note that this price still does include prevailing wage rate.
Yes.
Right.
It also says that if there's rock, it could be more.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
unit
there's a
cost for
rock
rock
rate,
if they run
Yeah.
into there. And I think everybody expects some of that
I was gonna
because
say, it's almost
there's a reason it's
guaranteed.
on a hill, you know?
Well, and they actually measured the depth of the present cable, and there's a place where it comes up close to the surface, so I'm assuming that's an outlet. So,
Yeah. Commissioner Litz, you had asked a question at the workshop, and Scott Shower was here from Shower Electric. We have used Shower Electric at the prison, I think 2 years ago. We used them for some transformer work where we thought we had to have it replaced. Shower Electric actually salvaged it for us by cleaning up some terminals, maybe replacing some smaller components, and saved a lot of money doing it, actually. So JJ has been comfortable working with him. That's where JJ started. John Johnson, our maintenance superintendent at the prison. He started with Shower Electric to explore this project. Scott came in, looked at it, said, you know, this is bigger than my capabilities, let me talk to IB Able. So that's kind of how the chain of events came about. The question you asked at the workshop is, does this exclude local contractors? Wedging anyone out of here, but what the Keystone Purchasing Network often, if not always, does is encourages that the contractors use subcontractors in the local area for some of the work, you know, whether it's concrete work or whatever. So in this case, Shower Electric would be doing the vault for the conduit. So there is, you know, there's a local component to it, right? So, and that's, you know, you're hiring IB Able. It's up to them to get their subs, but this whole program encourages that local.
probably excavation would be a local contractor.
Yeah, well, that's the part of the vault. They're
Yeah.
doing that too, yeah, because I think they said they would have to mobilize. They'd have to rent some excavation equipment and get that in a couple of days here. So
Time savings that you can go directly to something like this, but I'm wondering does it preclude you from going out and getting other?
No, I asked that last time.
So you could bid
Yep.
it as an RFP if you wanted.
Yeah,
You don't
this-
have to utilize them at all if you
Yeah.
don't want to.
this is a take it or leave it. I mean, they're you know, they assume some risk when they spend the time to put the proposal together. Cost companies pretty much money to put together a proposal and do the estimating and things. So they're taking that risk that you could just say thanks but no thanks.
There's no cost involved at all for what they've done so far.
And my guess is that local contractors will find out about it through your coverage of this process, and motivated to bid next year from this Keystone group to get work, depending how work is going. So it might help the local contractors, it might not.
How confident are you that this is a better bid than you would get from?
Well, as confident as we are in the bid process that they already went through. I mean, the only true way to test the price is to go out, you know, and then we're looking at $20,000 in specs, you know, 6 weeks until those are done, another couple of weeks on the street, you know, and job meetings. I mean, it's realistically probably 2 months until
It's
we'd
a
even
substantial
be at a bid opening.
They've done all the legwork that we normally do when we do an initial bid. that's already been taken care of and done for them bidding to get on in the Keystone Network. So that's, the money's been spent by them, not by us, plus we don't have to go through the process of getting it out, advertising, getting it bid, opening meetings, so that's all.
You would have had to hire someone to.
We would have had to get a
design that.
consultant to
To do the
design it,
specs.
right.
Do all the specs.
Right, yeah, we
that
don't
would
have
be-
anybody in-house.
You estimated that at
20,000, that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's been higher than that in some cases,
Yeah.
depending on the project.
And I would think Shower's pretty big, and if they felt it was too big for them, that there would probably be too many in Lebanon County that.
Ours is actually the company that went into the CTC that cleaned up somebody else's mess when they didn't do it right. So they have a good reputation in the community is what I found. And if they're going to be part of it, it certainly raises my level of confidence, but I don't want to blindly take Keystone every time from here on out. I would like to make sure that we're doing due diligence with bidding processes when we're under less time constraints.
You said there is no cost to being part of Keystone
No.
Purchasing?
No, it's
just
like a simple, you just kind of go online and put the information in and you're part of it. It's just so they have our information. And I want to also mention that this isn't the first time this KPN is being utilized in Lebanon County. Northern Lebanon School District has already done some work, I think some paving work, they said,
Yeah.
through this, where they, in this case, would have had, or in their case, would have had Lobar come in and do the paving, I think, on their parking lots at Northern Lebanon School District. This started out as a venture of an intermediate unit in central PA, around the Lewistown area. The intermediate unit is there, did the legwork to create this Keystone Purchasing Network, but now it's available statewide.
Okay, hearing no other questions, is there a motion?
I'll make, go ahead.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you,
Very good.
Dennis.
I'll